Check, check. Check one, check two. Check, check.
The Rockefellers also stifled human progress by suppressing energy technology that threatened their control via oil.
All right, so we're recording. So this is about the war in the Ukraine. If you guys haven't heard about it, BlackRock and JP Morgan are helping to fund this reconstruction after the war. They're also sending money and they're trying to make this whole big thing go off. So let's visualize this. You got bombs, you got guns, you've got desolate areas, war-ravaged areas, tanks being sent over by every nation. World War III is pretty much being financed in this area. So visualize the aftermath, right? Think about rebuilding. Who's going to own these buildings and the lands that were destroyed? Likely, there were private citizens and businesses that owned these lands, and now you're just going to bomb them and blow the areas up. So who's going to own all these buildings and lands in this city, whereas it is west of Moscow, and it's in the eastern part of Europe. So Western Asia, Eastern Europe. Yep, I'm sure you can guess it. Visualize what it's going to look like in 10 years when they have rebuilt this. Maybe 5 years, maybe 20 years. It's going to look like New York City. It's going to look like JP Morgan and BlackRock has just destroyed the lands in this city and this country, and they're going to own everything as they build it up. So let's go deeper. BlackRock in the COVID crisis was buying up all the homes in the U.S. when the housing market was low and made these prices soar to ridiculous levels. So now they own tons and tons of houses. Maybe they want to do that worldwide until this agenda came up. And now all they have to do is finance a war and rebuild it, and they don't have to pay anybody for anything. They just have to build. Mark my words, this will be the first digital currency city in the world. This will be the pilot of the NWO, the cheapest global takeover ever. And the citizens of the US have just financed the demolition of this. The cover story in the beginning of the New World Order in Europe and Asia. It's like when you get married and you and your wife already own a home, then you buy another home together. It's so nice. But this home in the UK is free to take. And just some upgrades are needed from the US and from England. It's a power move. I feel for the people of the Ukraine. They're not only losing their homes, their lives, but they're losing their freedoms as well. And they will lose this New World Order country. To be clear, I don't think that whatever happens across the globe will happen in the US for a very long time. We have a history of rising up, and the deep state will be fine taking over the rest of the world before they come and take over our lands or the people. But I think it'll eventually happen. So this is what I see happening in the Ukraine. They've bombed this. They've destroyed everything. They've taken the lands for free. They're going to build it back up, skyscrapers, commerce, everything. And this will be the home of the NWO, the New World Order across the world. What do you guys think?
I think you're on fire tonight, man. You're on fire. I let MJ go.
I mean, it's not surprising. Just look at what happened in you can look at what happened in Japan after we bombed them with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, one of the USA, one of the only people to drop atomic bombs, right? And then look at what Halliburton did in the reconstruction of what we did in the Middle East. So it's par for the course. Par for the course.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Reading the books of David Icke, he talks about that too. Same thing with Iraq, right? They go in there and Bush has his own companies, doing business with bin Laden. And that was pretty shocking to me when I found that out, that they were best buddies.
Well, bin Laden was an asset, correct?
Yeah, I believe he was.
Yeah, we trained him right before
they turned on his ass, and then they set him up. So yeah.
Well, I mean, the government it's been doing this, right? Like all the drugs that run out of Arkansas when Bill Clinton was the governor. This stuff doesn't surprise me anymore. We see it over and over. How long has this war been going on now? Has it been eight, 9 months?
Yeah, probably about a year, I think. I mean, ever since they tried to cover up the other thing that was going on for the past couple of years, it's like they needed something to push us sideways to look at on the news, so we don't talk about all the Pfizer and the Fauci and the other stuff going on. So yeah, it's just a big cover up, and now they're just going to hijack the whole thing. That's my opinion.
It's interesting to me that when it first started happening, it was in the news more, but you don't really hear much about it. I mean, they don't talk about it as much.
Yeah. So I have a good friend that lives in Tampa. I'm not sure if we can get him on the show, but he is actually a gun trader.
He's a drug dealer.
No, he's not into drugs, man. I'm telling you.
Oh.
But he's a gun trader, and he's been over there numerous times. And I was texting him the other night, like what are you seeing over there? He's like, well, people are dying. There's soldiers dying. I go, yeah, but is it? I mean, do you think it's been overblown? Is it just is it basically a land takeover? He's like, no, it's a legitimate war, but it's not the war conventionally how it is. But he goes, we're killing it. We're making tons and tons of money on bullets and ammunition and stuff, and the taxpayers are funding it. We're sending tanks over there now. France is sending tanks over there. The whole United Nations is sending tanks over there and supplies. And what's going to happen is the country's going to be completely ravaged, and it's going to be a demolition area over there, and then they're going to build it right up. And they've already talked about this digital currency being the first city. So then I started envisioning this whole thing going on. It's like, who owned that land before that? Well, they own it now because whoever owned it before has hightailed it out of there, and then they're just going to build it up with BlackRock and JP Morgan. So congratulations to the people of the Ukraine. You'll have a really nice city in probably about 20 years, but you won't be able to be able to live there. You won't be able to afford it, and you're sure not going to be able to buy anything.
They're going to be a lot of debt too.
Yeah,
you think that all of this money they're getting, there's strings attached. It's not a gift.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even think it'll take 20 years. I think it'll be shorter than that.
No, I meant for it to be. Look where the Ukraine is positioned. I mean, it's positioned in the eastern part of Europe, and it's positioned in the western part of Asia. I mean, it is quite literally, and I believe it's the second biggest country in. Is it considered Europe or Asia? Anyway, it's the second biggest country. So people who think that the Ukraine is a little small country getting picked on, and they're completely mistaken as far as how many people they have, how much military they have, there's all kinds of conspiracy theories about what's actually going on, and I don't want to talk about that. I just see that we're sending troops over there to I think we sent 100,000 troops over to Poland, I believe. And we're sending more. We're just going to stand on the doorstep. I think it's a complete facade as far as the war is concerned. It's just a country takeover so that billionaires can make more money and that they can establish a country that is the most corrupt and manipulated in the world.
Hmm. What do you, MJ, what do you think about Putin?
I think it's a lot more complicated than we're being told. I'm not saying he's a good guy, but I don't think it's just as black and white as it's good and bad. I've tried to kind of look at it because in my mind, this is the beginning of potential World War III. And just the more that we support Ukraine, the closer that I feel it's getting to the point to where it's going to reach a flashpoint, and then it's going to involve more than just Ukraine and Russia. But I think Putin doesn't like the idea of NATO and Ukraine having any type of alliance right there in his backyard. And I think potentially, I can't be in his head for sure, but maybe he feels he needs to protect his borders by doing something there, right? Whether that's right or wrong. So I think it's definitely more complicated than we're told. And the more that we get involved, the more potential it has to escalate.
What are your thoughts, Chad?
No, I really don't have too many detailed thoughts. It depends on what source you're looking at, because you hear contrary sides. Mm-hmm. There's a guy that I follow, and I don't talk about him much on my channel. His name is Benjamin Fulford. Have you ever heard of him? Mm-hmm. No?
Yeah, I haven't.
Yeah, well, he's a supposed insider, and he every week he has a newsletter where he tells you exactly what's going on in the world. What he thinks the real thing is happening, the thing that nobody talks about in the news. But I haven't been really keeping up with what he's been talking about. But he believes that really he believes contrary to what most people think, in that by taking by taking Ukraine out, they're taking the center of the New World Order out, and that actually the Russians in this case are more of like the good guys. So I don't talk. It's a little bit controversial here, thought, but he talks a lot about it in interviews and in his newsletter. So
yeah, I can see it, and I am not going to get involved in it because I know it's an emotional thing for most people, especially if you have relatives or people from that area. One of my friends' his brother's wife is Ukrainian, and I do know for a fact that she's basically said that she would rather be with Russia than with the Ukraine, and she's Ukrainian. So that there are people who would rather stay with Russia or go back to Russia, as far as that's concerned, to be controlled. I think that there are some people who have seen what happened to Cuba, and they were very boisterous in the U.S. The past few years about the mandates and how things are going and how communism works. And, so I think there's a sentiment that would like to just completely stay out of that area and let somebody else deal with it. Again, Ukraine is not Rhode Island trying to fight the entire United States. They probably don't have the power of Russia, but I think that we're only going to see the aspects of this politically charged situation in the media from our point of view, from the media's point of view, which is CIA controlled, NWO all the way, and they're going to push that agenda, all the way out, and that's going to be a dangerous game for most people to have an opinion on, because that's all they're going to see.
Yeah, well, let me just read you a little bit of an article that just came out, and the title is "End of Rockefeller Rule and the Beginning of the Golden Age of Hydrogen." And I'll just read you a couple of brief paragraphs. The surrender of the Rothschilds and the collapse of the Rockefeller stranglehold over the United States of America, he calls it corporation, will allow us all to live like millionaires during the upcoming golden age of hydrogen. I guess hydrogen fuel is going to replace everything. This is the big story behind all the news about the U.S. debt limit being reached, the defeat of Ukraine, and the takedown of the fake Biden regime. The Rockefellers have used their control via over 200 foundations of the Fortune 500 companies to hide the fact that they are the real masterminds behind the war in Ukraine. The attempted, I don't want to say the word, but the thing you stick in your arm, genocide, and much more. And so he goes on to say that the war in Ukraine as well can be seen as a Rockefeller attempt to force the Europeans to buy oil and gas from them and not the Russians. What do you guys think about that?
I don't trust any corporate or any entity that's been involved in things on that level up to this far to look out for us at any point in the future. Like, it just doesn't, because you would think if you have that much power, money, and influence, why haven't we seen some of this utopia that supposedly is coming down the pipe?
Well, that's what he says in his article here. The Rockefellers also stifled human progress by suppressing energy technology that threatened their control via oil. This is why Nikola Tesla ended up an impoverished prisoner in a hotel room while his technology was suppressed. And in later years, he says, Japanese solar panel manufacturers told me, this guy Benjamin lived in Japan for a long time, and he speaks Japanese, that they were forced to dump half the solar panels they produced, while the price of silicon they bought was jacked up fivefold in order to prevent solar power from being competitive with oil. So I think it's been going on for over 100 years that these people, this small oligarch, hiding behind these corporations, are just suppressing the technology. I think I asked this to Billy Carson, but how is it possible with the internet now that the technology just can't be out there?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him talking about, he did something about electric batteries in cars a day or two ago and said everything was plastic. Everything is plastic. Plastic comes from fossil fuels, which is another play on a ridiculous connotation that fossil fuels, dinosaur bones, or whatever that's supposed to be, is supposed to be how oil is produced and how energy is attained, and that's just ridiculous. The Earth produces fossil fuels. It's not dinosaur bones.
Well, according to Eric Dubé, there were no dinosaurs, so
I'd probably believe that. I mean, if there was a vapor canopy, I mean, if the Earth wasn't like it is, we're about to find out probably in the next 30 years with this pole shift. If that materializes, there's going to be another vapor canopy. And Jason Brashear says vapor canopy is going to come back for 7 years in 2046, I believe. And let's talk about him for a second.
Hold on, but before you switch, I had one question from the person that you knew that was in the Ukraine that was siding with Russia. Why did she want to side with Russia? What did she feel the benefit of going with Russia was?
Good question. I don't have inside information. She's older. This is my really good friend's brother's wife. I've never talked to her. I know her, but I've never talked to her. They live in Chicago, and she's probably 40, 45. So he's quite a bit old. She's probably almost 50, probably, if I'm going to guess. I think he's 65 or 68 or something like that. So she's younger than he is quite a bit, but so she's probably lived through a lot of the wall coming down and, the fall communism, the fall of Soviet Union. I don't have how many, years ago that was off the top of my head, but I would say that a lot of people would probably want to be taken care of the way communism. I shouldn't say that. I don't know. I'm just speculating that they're okay with the way that Russia treats its citizens. That's my speculation. As far as provides for them, I guess is my guess.
Yeah. I was going to intercede with a little bit of humor. I was going to say I was going to do a Ronald Reagan impression for you.
Uh-oh.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Tear down that wall.
I'm glad your voice is a little bit deeper today, Chad. Mm-hmm. It works a little better. It doesn't work if it's my voice.
It's getting back to normal. It's still a tad deeper than usual, but it's getting back to normal.
Did the Grandmaster have you do some breathing exercises to get it a little deeper?
The Grandmaster was in rare form today, as usual, and there will be a third interview. But
was he all riled up?
Oh, he was.
Oh,
I got him a little riled in the beginning because I told him that some people doubted his powers.
Oh.
And there was somebody that wrote a really I don't want to say scathing quote, but definitely it was derogatory towards him, but only in the way that someone wanted to protect him. Like, hey, don't fall for his gimmicks. Like, I've been there and done that, So I actually wanted to read that quote. What do you guys think about coming on a live stream with me on my channel?
Yeah, tonight? Let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, tonight. Cool.
I mean, tonight. You guys don't have to be on that long. We could be 15, 20, 30 minutes.
That's fine, but I don't shut up, so I'm not sure how 15 minutes is going to do me. Are you guys going to talk in 15 minutes, or what's going to happen?
I could just lead it off. I'll just prompt you guys, but it's an interesting comment. I want to kind of read the comment, tell you about the interviews, and maybe we could talk about, get your guys' opinion on some of the things that went on this week.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I was hoping, or I was thinking for you to premiere that so that people can kind of see what's coming. Like, hey, we got some different faces coming on there, and that might be something you might want to do for tomorrow too. I mean, it's up to you. I'm just saying in general, I think me and Mike definitely are good-looking guys that could get you a lot of viewers.
That's right. You see all these ladies around me now.
Oh, that's the new Billy. That's Billy Carson 2.0 right there.
Billy Carson Jr. Right?
Yeah, BJJ.
Well, no, that would be cool because I'll say my opinions of Grandmaster because for that because I got some thoughts on that. Yeah.
Did you ask me the question I sent you, Chad?
What's that?
I sent you like about 20 questions to bring up to him, or they were just my notes. They weren't really questions. They were just notes.
Yeah. I looked through them. I think I got one or two in, but I had compiled a whole bunch of viewer questions too. And I said to him, I'm going to ask you some tough questions here. Some people are doubting you. And he says, okay. So whenever you guys want to do that live stream, we'll go ahead and set that up. I mean, you know, I'm not saying I'm talking like it's like days from now. Like we're talking minutes.
Set it up.
Right.
Set it up. Send me the link.
Well, I guess in the internet time, you don't know when this is going to be posted. So I mean,
this is going to be beforehand. So we're going to do
well, no, if we're going live with him, they'll see this before they see. They'll see that before they see that.
Right. Right. Exactly. This will be after. What I'm saying.
Yeah. But at least it's like setting the stage. You know.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
We're setting the stage. This will be like the pre-show.
Yeah.
Pre-game.
Yeah, people are gonna be like, "Who are those two guys?" You know.
Well, you didn't watch our live stream. I mean, we don't have enough viewers to go live yet, but
you haven't made any of the videos live yet.
I made them public, but nobody has. We don't have any subscribers because I don't think I actually put them for public. I tell you like yesterday.
Oh,
I put them so people could actually look at them.
So I wanna look at the channel.
So while you're doing that, do you guys think in your minds that what we're seeing has the potential to be a third world war? Do you think that's a potential that's being that's coming together? Not saying that you want it, but do you see the probabilities increasing for that to happen with the moves that are being made?
I don't see how it could be a world war. I think that everybody would have something at stake. Like I don't think if we send soldiers to Ukraine that Russia's going to bomb the U.S. or nuke the U.S. No, that's not what I think is even possible. I don't see how Russia, in their right minds, unless they get China on their side, they don't. I mean, I don't think that they have any. They first of all, the downfall of Russia, and I think Putin is no idiot, although he might be a Satanist or whatever. He might be a lot of things. Satanist is probably the wrong word. I don't think Russia thinks that the best thing for Russia to do to get Ukraine is to take their asses worldwide. Like that's just spreading yourself really thin and stupidly. Like, how many soldiers you got? 1 million? Okay, so you send 200,000 to Ukraine, and then what you gonna do with the other 800? Send them to the U.S. and England and France? Like, who would do that?
You don't have to send soldiers. He's got some nuclear weapons that they've been testing. You don't think he has nuclear weapons?
No, I think he might. I mean, there's the other conspiracy that nobody's ever had nuclear weapons, and we don't have them still. That's just a fear tactic. Chad, go ahead. I know you want to talk.
Yeah, because it's another Eric Dubé conspiracy. There are no nuclear weapons. I kind of wonder though, when Nagasaki and Hiroshima were bombed, how did everything?
What was that?
What's that?
I was going to say, what would he call those? Maybe they were.
He didn't call them nuclear. He said that they were not mushroom in nature.
He said they were fire bombs.
Yeah, he said they were regular bombs, right?
He said they were fire bombed, and that if it was actually nuclear, it would take thousands of years for anything.
And there would be I think he said there would be radiation for 5 years. And like the city went back in like a couple weeks. Yeah,
weeks, months.
So
question everything.
So does he think there's nuclear power? If there's no nuclear bombs, he must not agree with nuclear power.
That's one I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he put out that theory. I saw that like 4 years ago.
I mean, nuclear power is more of a local thing. Where I think nuclear bombs that's not local. That's like you're sending them across the. I mean, I don't know. Can you put it on a drone and drop it? I mean, I don't know how that works. But I mean, nuclear power is just fusion, and I'm not sure exactly how that works. You're the engineer, Mike. You want to weigh in?
Yeah, but I'm just saying if he's saying that there's no, because I mean, that technology would. I mean, we use nuclear power for stupid stuff, just like nuclear plants. All they're doing is making steam, right? That's all they're doing. This is basically glorified steam, but the way they're generating the heat is supposedly from nuclear reactions. And those same nuclear reactions, the waste from that is what they use to make the nuclear bombs from. So I was just curious if he kind of correlated that stuff. But that's I
don't know. He didn't dive into them. He just said that they were not nuclear weapons. They had no radioactive characteristics. That's what he was pointing to. I'm not saying he's wrong or right. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, because they do have Nolan has a movie coming out about Oppenheimer that's going to be talking about nuclear. You know, he's the supposedly one of the creators of the first nuclear bomb. So be interesting. So even if let's take nuclear bombs off of the table. Do you still feel that there's a potential for worldwide conflict? Like, or do you think
worldwide
this is just a
conflict
local
isn't necessarily a world war, in my opinion? I mean, I know you're not trying to make a distinction there. I think that the world might get involved, but I don't think that Putin believes that the best thing for him to do to get Ukraine back is to go everywhere else. Like, he might send all his army to the Ukraine, and then does that make a world war? I mean, I don't see that. I don't see it coming to the U.S. unless it's a false flag event. Predictions. Jason Brashear's made some predictions. I made one right there.
What did Jason predict?
Well, he says. He says he has another month before. What he said, the beginning of the year, which is March 1st, right? Is March the end of the calendar? September 10, 11, 12. So March 1 will be the calendar, right?
Well, when you say count, what do you mean the calendar? Do you mean like his calendar? Or?
He's saying that the calendar has been hijacked, obviously, because October is 8, November is 9, Decade is 10, and then 11 is January, 12th month is February, which is why it's 28 days, something with the procession. And then March 1 is the beginning of the new year, which he said multiple times in his predictions that Joe Biden will not be the president on the beginning of the year.
So this is in March?
Waiting for that one. He said the vice president will become the president by March.
Yeah, that's a bold one.
So he said it a year ago, almost a year ago, probably 7-8 months ago.
But how does he come up with his predictions?
Well, that's a good question. I mean, he's been on your show, right? He hasn't been on my show.
Yeah.
I can't ask him that. Isometric projections, he says, which I don't know what the hell that means.
Okay.
You know that's at least that's a
bold prediction.
A quantifiable specific prediction. So
he made predictions. I believe in the summer of last year for next year, late summer, and I believe he's been right on a couple things. I'm really waiting for the president one, and it looks like they're trying to set his ass up. So that's why I'm trying to see the timeline changes if they push it back, because it seems like they're trying to get rid of him to me too. But he did say by the end of 2022 calendar year, the actual correct calendar, not the what do they call this calendar?
The Gregorian calendar.
Is it Gregorian? I think so, something like that. So
I haven't heard that one. That's okay. Well, we'll see. We'll find that out in a couple months.
Wait, no, 1 month. I mean, we only got a month in 4 days. So we got five weeks. Let's see if he's right on that one. But Jason's out there right now. Jason is doing a lot of shows. He just did who did he just do that was really popular? The guy was like, "Oh, I'm a really big fan of yours." It'll come to me.
Yeah, I'm looking up.
Pretty decent size show.
Yeah, he's grown. He's up to.
I think it was John Nolan's show he just did too.
Oh, he did? Yeah, because he's up to 87,000 subscribers right now. So he's moving.
He's climbing. Yeah.
His videos get good views. Yeah, I can see it right here. 24,000 views, 20,000 views. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, he talks a lot about the same things in his videos, guys, but he talks a lot about the same things, but people are really enamored by it. I mean, it's his theory, just like everyone has their theory, right? I mean, Howdy Mikowski has his theory, and James True has his, Tom Campbell has his, and it goes on and on. So, I mean, I asked Grandmaster Wolf today, what about the Earth being a soul trap? He says more like an ego trap. That's basically how he answered it.
Yeah. I guess he didn't contemplate that yet.
No. Well, he means it's not a soul trap. It's your ego thinking it's a soul trap.
It's possible too.
Yeah.
So guys, you want to go over to to do the live stream?
Over your house? You're gonna make
my house?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. You come over to my house.
Y'all want to come over to my house and we can have some drinks and see where it leads?
You could come to my StreamYard, and that way you can have a real logo up there, and not some duck.
What's wrong with my house?
This is true. We got to get that duck. because that duck is in the is going to be recorded in the video, right?
It is, but I just put the logo over the duck.
Well, that's good.
Oh, hold up. Oh, I think I took Chad out.
I'm here.
Chad, I took you out. It said remove from stream. Okay, so it wasn't a duck thing. It was a person thing. Okay, well, there were 3 dots up there by the duck, and I tried to give it Affleck, and it didn't work. So
That's all good.
that's what I got.
Yeah. As long as you cover it up, then that's fine. But sometimes MJ's head gets a little close.
It sounded like a duck head.
Yeah.
And by the way, I like the Brooklyn. I like that.
So I was at DMV today. I'm sure our future viewers love to hear this. And there was a African American gentleman at the front door, and I walked in there, and he said, "Are you the coach of the Nets?" And I said, "Am I Steve Nash?" I said, "Yeah." I said, I mean, I appreciate. I look taller on TV. I know Steve Nash is probably 6'3", at least 6'2".
Yeah,
but I'm close. In case you've never seen me in person, I'm 6'2". Yeah, that's it.
So you're starting to get your hair closed. He grew his hair out long too, right?
If I put my hair straight up, I mean, it's about like 8 inches. That's what she said. And then 8 inches and 8 inches. So yeah, I'm right there, man. I'm 6'2" with my hair straight up. I'm gonna need something about Mary Moose, but right. I can get it there. I can get the 6'2".
How tall are you actually?
5'8".
Oh, okay. I was saying because when you were at the conference, I was like, I don't remember you being tall like that.
I'm 6'2". I said if no one has seen me in person, I'm 6'2".
Okay.
I mean, I can't be any more sarcastic. I mean, I probably could actually.
What about MJ? You about the same height? It's not 5'9", 5'10".
5'10" and a half. No, 5'11".
No, you're 6 feet 200 in college. I don't know. You shrink.
Nah,
it's all that vegan.
Nah, I'm 5'11". I say I'm 6 feet in the morning.
Oh, okay. In the morning, you got morning wood.
No. They say you're taller in the morning before your spine compresses after walking or whatever. So, okay. But 5'11" on my license.
They don't measure you on a license though. They just ask you, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get me a new license. I'm 6'2". I had that guy that said I was Steve Nash. Go ahead and verify that.
Okay. So, are you gonna send us the link for your yard?
I'm gonna. It's gonna take me like 5 minutes because I have to create like a thumbnail with it. So I'm working on that right now.
So real quick before we go, this is a thought that I've had because like when I look at stuff, I try to look at it from multiple angles. So like even the Russian stuff, and I know there's censorship on all levels, right? So we don't really get the full picture, and we tend to think that other countries have censorship and they're not getting all of the truth, but we in America tend to think that we're not in that same boat. But we think we're the good guys and they're the bad guys, and over there we can be the bad guys, right? So
it's just perspective.
So have you guys considered that the potential that we are the bad guys, that America is the bad guy, and they're defending themselves against us? Yeah,
you have to also consider the fact that I deal with people in China through ordering products and stuff like that, and I think about them often. Would I rather be someone who knows they're being controlled by the Communist Party of China, or would I rather be in the U.S. where I'm told I'm free, but I'm not free? And I think it's better to be upfront and straightforward. Let me know the rules, and I'd rather play by the rules or not play by the rules than be lied and manipulated to, and just believe that everybody's telling me BS. So yeah, I mean, I think we're the bad guys often. I mean, we've certainly been the bad guys in every country, at least once. We remove people in power. We assassinate. We use our political influence to align with the lobbyists. I mean, what's worse than that?
Yeah. And I was just curious to that. You have any thoughts on that, Chad? Have you thought about that?
I mean, I know that we're viewed as the bad guys, but I think people do have sympathy for us in certain situations. Like when I went over to Spain and Europe right after 9/11 happened, And when people asked, where I'm from, I told them I'm from New York. They really had sympathy for me. Some of them even gave me stuff, or like they let me in for free to a park or something like that, just because they felt bad. But I've lived overseas for a couple of years. People definitely have stereotypes of Americans, just as we have stereotypes of other countries.
And a lot of them are true.
Yeah, well, some of them, most people, like most foreigners, especially if they're poor or not that educated, they believe like all Americans are
rich.
Yeah, that's a classic one right there.
Well, I mean, for the most part, we are, but the government steals all of our damn money through taxes.
But it's also relative, right? Because we make more money, but then everything costs 10 times as much as well. So, same,
Same, yeah. It
But when we go to their country, that's the cool thing. When I lived in Thailand, everything was 10 times less expensive. So our dollar does go further. So in that way, we're kind of rich when we go over there, but not when we're living in our own country.
Right. Yeah.
That's why I'm delivering pizza.
And I've heard that Americans are stereotypically considered to be lazy. Have you heard that as well when you were overseas?
We are entitled.
Is that one?
Not. I haven't heard that, but I understand that. I mean, think about this, right? When I went to Europe for the first time, which was 1997 or 8, I think it was 98. I was in shock. I didn't see that many overweight people there.
No, they're not.
Same thing in Asia. There's not that many overweight people, unless it's American tourists. But you look around America, you see a lot of overweight people. So when people know that America has a lot of overweight, so overweight people are perceived as being lazy. So therefore, America might be perceived as being lazy.
I see.
Yeah.